Shark movies are everywhere right now. They're in your water, they're in your air, and they're on your TV. We're going to tell you how bad these shark movies are, but we'll also tell you why they're so bad, why they shouldn't have been made, what went wrong with them, and who should be held responsible for their existence. They're awful, but are they awfully good? Stick with us to find out. Well, welcome along to another Chat Schmat. It's been a while, and this is the first in a new series. We've got, I guess this is probably your first time on the proper podcast, but we've got Joe with us today. He was part of Real Busters, doing reviews there on The Godfather, and more of that to come as well. But this is Sharkfest. I did order a prop shark, but of course, typical fashion, it hasn't arrived. But for the next shark movie, it'll be here. But Ian has he's done a great job there with his background. So I think that'll be good enough for all of us. But basically, we're going to be doing, first of all, 6 episodes of Sharkfest, meaning we're going to be watching all the wonderful shark movies, starting with Sharknado. Now, we will eventually watch all the Sharknado movies, but in this particular run, if you like, there will be one Sharknado movie, and then we've got more coming up. You'll find out about that all at a later stage. But in today's episode, we're doing the very first Sharknado. And just a quick bit of background. It's made by the Asylum, and it was on SYFY 2013. And it stars Tara Reid, Ian Ziering, Cassie Serbo, Jason Simmons, and yes, John Hurd, who probably would rather be not seen and heard in this film. But then it's written by Thunder Levin and directed by Anthony C. Ferrante, if that is how you say the name. But basically, in case you didn't know and you were living under a rock, it's a shark exploitation mockbuster movie, and it's obviously it started its own trend, but then it was off the back of other shark movies, and it's a pretty dumb shark movie, and it's only downhill from here. The basic premise of it is, obviously, it's a tornado with sharks, and it looks so real, it's unbelievable. You would think it was a documentary that they were filming. Just some facts about it. It aired on SYFY Channel on the 11th of July, 2013, and it was also given a one-night-only special midnight theatrical screening in Regal Cinemas, where it earned $200,000 from 200 screenings. And the over-the-top premise and theatrics of the film quickly earned it a cult following. I have to be careful how to say that. It attracted 1.37 million viewers, and it says it generated nearly 5,000 tweets a minute at its peak. And the second one actually pulled in 3.9 million. So, there was quite a lot of success with these stupid movies. So you can see why they did more of them.
Hurricane David is poised to be the first hurricane.
It's a storm. That's what's driven them all up north.
I've never seen so many of them nor so bold.
It's barely even raining.
It's flooding here, and not the plumbing, the ocean.
You need to go home.
I'm not going anywhere.
Storm's coming, and it's coming fast. Just can't sit back and watch this.
But in the discussion today, we have got our usual cohort, Neil Stringer, and our special guests. We've got Ian Lauder, and also, take it away, guys, introduce our new friend.
And we've got Joseph Lennon from Real Busters.
Hello.
Johnny, can I ask a question just off the back here?
Go for it.
Why is it every time you invite me on, it's to watch crappy movies? I mean,
Because you love it.
I thought the bar was pretty low with the American Ninja sequels.
Come on, George. George, wake up. Let's go.
No, I hear an angel and must be in heaven.
George, wake up or I'm calling in your bar tab.
Oh, I'm up. I'm up.
All right, grab a weapon. Grab anything you find and defend yourself. Come on, let's go, let's go, let's go!
George, get your ass up. Now.
All right. Why does the car shake?
George, if you live in Beverly Hills, how come you come all the way to the coast to drink at my bar?
I don't know, I like the view, you know? There's a beach and there are all these scantily clad women there who pretend to like me if I buy them a drink, and then there's my seat, my chair.
Everyone needs to get to higher ground!
Okay, you go! Okay, I got you, princess. Okay, there you go.
I think you just like causing me pain.
Yeah, you love it. You come back for more. That's it.
But Ian,
Well, in fairness, you're the only channel will actually let me on a podcast. So
but then again, Heist is compared to Jaws: The Revenge.
Ugh.
this is actually more entertaining.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
Not
Do you not
better.
think- do you
Ever
not
more
think-
entertaining.
Do you not think Jaws: The Revenge is trying to be a Jaws movie, whereas this one is not pretending?
Well, I always wonder, the thing that always has come to mind about these films is, what's the fascination with sharks? Because we've had so many shark films. I mean, the joke of Back to the Future Part 2 was Jaws 19. Now, if you count all these shark movies that we've had in the last decade and a half, you could almost say that we've had all those Jaws sequels in a way, if you include these bizarre premises for sharks. I mean,
But
who
this
thought-
was, if I'm right, this is the one that kind of started the craze, right? Of the bad sort of
yeah, I think it was about the
shark
same time.
movies.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if Mega Shark predates it or not, but I think it was about that same time.
Right. Okay.
I believe this is the film, due to its popularity, that kick-started the whole trend of other shark
Right.
movies.
Right. And you're going to make
Jurassic.
me watch them, aren't you?
Well, it's interesting to talk about the writer for a second, because Thunder Levin, I mean, the name in itself is just amusing, but he worked in the late 80s as a still photographer on 3 movies for the legendary film producer Roger Corman. So he got an interesting start, but his other feature films include the horror comedy Mutant Vampire Zombies from the Hood. And he also obviously wrote and directed other things for the Asylum. There was one, American Warships and AE Apocalypse Earth. So you know he's found himself in niche, hasn't he?
And that's all I've done is step by step. I've made slightly better and better, bigger and bigger films, and it was because of those. You know, these films I made for the Asylum, they were mockbusters. I mean, I didn't think of them that way. I'm not trying to rip off other people's movies. That doesn't interest me in the slightest, and I'm not trying to satirize them. The idea of the mockbuster from the Asylum's playbook is not so much to satirize the individual project, but to satirize the idea that $200 million is required to make an entertaining movie. It's not. And it was the fact that I had done one of these films for them well. I delivered the script that they wanted. I delivered it on time, so I give them what they want. And then I go out and I make the best film I possibly can on the money they give me. And I put together the best team of people who aren't going to say, oh, it's only a $200,000 crappy Asylum mockbuster. They're going to say, we're going to make this the best battleship movie we can, or the best alien planet movie we can, or the best zombie film we can, given the resources available to us. And it was the fact that I had done that and delivered to them what they needed, and something that showed I actually cared about the material, and that I had some intelligence and I had some style. It was that made them come to me and say, we want you to write a movie called Sharkstorm. And for me to be in a position to say, no, why would I want to write a movie called Sharkstorm? Haven't we had enough dumb shark movies? And they went away and said, all right, we'll find somebody else to do it. And then a month later, they came back to me and they said, what we really want you to do is write a movie called Sharknado. And I said, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. And if I can write it that way, then sure, I'll do it. I'd love to do it. And thank God they said, yes, it's okay to be ridiculous on a movie called Sharknado. You know, and from there, in the last 2 years, I've had some modicum of success that hopefully now is leading to bigger and better things. But it's all because step by step I proved that I was reliable, that I could do what they needed me to do. And I only got that opportunity because I'd done what I said I could do. I went out, I raised the money, I made this film. And instead of just saying, take a chance on me, I said, here, this is what I can do. And I can do it for you.
Mockbusters, which are basically just they cash in on the big blockbusters, hoping that parents will buy their kids their movies instead of the actual proper ones. So instead of getting Transformers for Christmas, they'll probably end up getting Transmorphers. And the kids probably go, what the hell is this?
they're the sort of films you see in Poundland. You know, you go in and they've got those kind of films, you know, where you think, oh, is this based on something? In fact, Sharknado even spawned its own copycats, some from the same production company and some from others trying to cash in on that. So you can imagine the quality of the effects in those movies.
I mean, obviously, if the film had a bigger budget, someone could render those effects a lot better, so they wouldn't look so plastic.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, you know, if you had a bigger budget and you'd done that properly, it wouldn't come across as funny.
No.
And the one thing that the movie does have is it's stupid fun. So I think the bad effects sort of go hand in hand with that. If they had tried to do really serious effects, you know, I'm not sure it would be as entertaining.
Well, what we're trying to do with this series, in fact, is to show really stupid, terrible shark movies. If they had been any good, they wouldn't have been on our list. So, you know,
I mean, I think another thing I've noticed about these films, obviously they don't have a budget for extras. So, so when we see a bunch of empty streets where there's supposed to be this crisis happening and cars driving along casually in both directions in the background, you can see that they're not really putting much effort into the urgency of the crisis.
We've got this group of people. They're in a car. They're trying to get to higher ground to escape the floods and the influx of sharks. The only problem is they seem to be the only people really in a hurry to get out of LA. Everywhere else feels like business as normal.
Yeah.
And there's even a few shots that looks like LA isn't flooded when it should be flooded. So
yeah, the scenes with the bus.
Yeah.
You look down on the top of it. It looked like it was about to sink into the water. When you go onto the back of it, it looked like it was bone dry, and then from the side there was a bit of water coming up. So it was all kind of, you know, a continuity was not a thing.
It wasn't. Oh, and then you've got the acting. Wow, Tara Reid. What can
award winning. I think you'll find.
What can you say? I mean, I think generally with the exception of Tara Reid, I think they were all trying to make something out of nothing there. Especially the girl who is a bit trigger happy and shoots sharks throughout the whole movie, and then you find out, oh, she's had a bad experience as a kid with sharks, so she really hates sharks. What do you call it? What do you call the actress, Johnny? Was that?
I think that was Cassie Serbo.
Yes. I thought she was really entertaining and really trying to, again, make something out of nothing.
Trying to convey the heart and tragic backstory element.
Everyone did have a couple of seconds because George, aka John Hurd, was basically playing a drunken lech, but we found out that he lived in Hollywood or Beverly Hills, whatever, and was going all the way out there because of his tragic story of, he had no life and no friends. Oh, that's all right. He's a lovable groper.
and the fascination with his bar still, which he rescues when the first sort of tidal wave and sharks start flying through the air and the bar gets destroyed. He rescues his bar still. And you know what? I really like the character, and I was rooting for him and his bar still, and then they kill him off very quickly. I was still thinking maybe after the entails he would walk up with the bar still okay somehow, but
you see, call him George. I wonder if that was a nod to George Red, because when I was watching it, the kind of came to mind when I saw him just sit in the bar was Norm from Cheers. Always sitting in the corner of the bar, always in the bar. The only thing missing was the obligatory cheer to see when you see him in the bar.
And obviously he was doing, this was a paycheck weaver for him, and as soon as the check cleared, he was out of the movie.
Yeah, don't forget, this is Kevin McAllister's dad.
Yeah. At one point, I thought to myself, because in Home Alone 2, they go tell Florida, and I so wanted, because she had had enough of him, she divorced him. And then he went off in one, I would just love that to be that, but
Joe, as a horror fan, what did you make of the gore and the attempt at causing people panic in this?
Oh, it was hilarious. Oh no, it was hilarious. Like, I have seen really cheap, bad gore, but this was on another level. Again, what Ian was saying, if they had attempted to make it look really grisly, then okay, I would have still bought it, but no, this was just laughable.
That scene where they're throwing bombs into the tornadoes, I was thinking, God, is this where Trump got the idea for sending a nuke into a hurricane from?
Well, going back to the sort of gore, there was one guy, and he's really overacting. A shark starts eating him from the legs, and he starts going up the body, and he's really, giving it all he's got, and the spewing blood, and then he dies. And what made me laugh, then another shark lands on his head. After going through all that, another shark lands on his head. I mean, really, is there no dignity?
What I enjoyed was what you pointed out, Ian. The scenes where when George was still with us, and they're in this 4x4. The water was thrown, and you said it looked like they were in a car wash, and it's just interesting to see, because that's exactly what it was like, complete with it honestly looked like we were being shook about and everything, and they put a lot of tokens in. It was just a big long car wash. That's really what it was.
I wouldn't be surprised if that was it. Now maybe we'll get some comment by the people that done the CG and the effects for this movie going, that took us 50 hours.
They probably bought it off Fiverr or something, somebody off the website Fiverr, and they did it, quick turnaround.
I thought it worked well enough, but I'm not sort of criticizing it. At least with that, it was very contained. What you seen was very contained. Unlike when they try and rescue kids from a bus that supposedly the people are trapped on the bus because it's in water and the sharks swimming around it. Yeah. But when our hero goes off the bridge to try and save them, it looks like the bus isn't in any water, and just how they match up the shots is laughable.
We do have to remember as well that these are B movies. That's
also
that's what made it fun.
Yeah.
Also, another thing about the bus was the scene that you first see the bus, and he goes, "We gotta save the kids in there." it looked like a derelict bus when you first
Yeah.
see it. You didn't
Yeah.
get any indication there's any kids in there.
The interior was obviously filmed separately, and then they just thought, well, we need a shot of the bus from the exterior. We only paid them for the one day, so yeah, let's just shoot it anyway.
Don't you see that? There could be kids in there.
There's no one in there. And your kid is right here. We have to get her somewhere safe. This is so typical of you, Finn. You care more about other people than you do your own family.
And the effects of the Ferris wheel.
Yes.
Now that I think about it, just rolling and running over people and then crashing into a building.
And crushing one guy
was awesome.
And don't forget the obligatory guy getting crushed.
Yeah, the bus driver, he was some character, wasn't he? He was the last to be pulled up, and just as he was being winched up, he was giving us his exposition backstory. And he had one of the best lines in the film. My mother said, Hollywood would kill me, as a letter from the Hollywood sign. I think it was anyway. Press slammed onto him.
Obviously, speaking about exposition, obviously the main guy didn't tell that girl Jenny, we find out her name is towards the end, about his family or his kids, because obviously she has to learn. You have a kid, you have a son as well, so it's like, oh, you have to purposely have him there, so she has to find.
It looks like she has a thing for him, but by the end of the movie, it's like she's got a thing for his son. She can't make up her mind.
Another thing I love about the son is, you see when she tells his son about her past, her tragic backstory. I just love his reaction. And she says, "I always hate sharks," and he just goes, "I hate sharks too."
I hate sharks. I'm from Wyoming. I moved down here to be an actor.
You okay? My mom always told me Hollywood would kill me.
What is all the ruckus? Oh, Shepard. What are you doing here?
LA is drowning. I'm going inland. I'm taking my family with me.
Finley, April is mine.
Excuse me?
My girlfriend is not your responsibility. And unless it's the 20th of the month, which it currently is not, neither is Claudia.
Con, don't be rude. He's just worried about us.
Every time it rains in LA, everyone swears it's the storm of the century. And even if it is, Beverly Hills emergency services are second to none.
And now there's one swimming in your pool.
Are you kidding? Sharks in the swimming pool is impossible.
But do you not think it was? Do you not think it was a clever move? I said clever. It starts off where she fancies the dad, and then basically she maneuvers into the son, and then the douchebag, replacement dad, he got eaten fairly quickly.
Oh yeah.
So they were able to reconcile. So that means he could still go to his ex-wife, and the girl, she gets the son. The romance was divvied up quite well.
I have to say, that guy, his delivery was bad. It was too hot. He was trying too hard, but he did have a line. Maybe that was talk about how the emergency services are second to none.
That was one of the other cracking lines from it. It's like we were joking about the Superman rescuing the kids in the school bus, the way he does in Superman the movie. Yeah. And Ian said something about, statistically speaking, it's still the same way. That was their line, second to none.
How can there be sharks? There's no way there's going to be tornadoes. Everyone thinks that when there's some rain in California, it's the end of the world, or
I read somewhere while sort of researching this before we watched it tonight, that the director does claim that the whole Sharknado thing has a basis in science.
Yes, it was the writer. Yeah, I think
Was it the writer?
Let me see.
Now he doesn't go on to explain that, but
Well, do you think it was a science to
well,
Bob?
I dare say animals can get swollen up in hurricanes and stuff, but this seemed to be only sharks.
Yeah.
Also, there's quite a lot of sharks in the sea. Also, another thing is, I don't know if he actually believes in the science of throwing bombs into hurricanes.
That's the science of action movies. It's like throwing a car at a helicopter in Die Hard.
Yeah. Neil, don't forget you had Geostorm, which had Jared Butler blowing up clouds.
I've never seen Geostorm.
Well, there you go.
A trailer, I think, for Geostorm, it does have those. I think I saw the trailer, and Andy Garcia had that awful lie, Mario.
And Joe, what do you think? What was your favorite moment? Do you think, if you can call it that?
Oh dear God! Oh, do you know what? It would probably be John Hurd lifting the bar stool and running. The unsung hero of the movie, John Hurd.
And he does before he dies, he does use his bar stool to rescue a woman's dog from a car by breaking the window.
So obviously, if he's an action figure, he'd have that as an accessory.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I was kind of hoping he'd come back and then have his own spin-off, but
well, the girl survived. Why did he not survive?
He's inside a shark. Who's to say? I mean, we haven't seen the rest of these movies, but who knows? But I just get the feeling that that was just a paycheck movie for him.
I would like to think it was just a paycheck movie for most of them.
Yeah, I remember seeing an interview with John. It was in passing of when it came out. It was online, and they interviewed him on the red carpet.
Okay.
He actually went to the red carpet.
Yeah, and the girl says, "So John, do you survive?" And instead of kind of going, watch the movie, he goes, "Oh no, hell, honey, I'm a goner."
I'm just imagining one of these actors going, one of the things I remember saying is, it's when Van Helsing came out, one of the lines, one of the quotes he heard Hugh Jackman say, in the press junket for Van Helsing was, "I really believed in the script." I just can't really imagine the actors of this movie going, Tara Reid going, I really thought the family quality of this is a great script.
I read an interview with Tara Reid. She said, "Look, the script is rubbish. It's ridiculous." And we knew that going in. But what we found was we started to have a lot of fun while filming it because it was so ridiculous.
Yeah.
So obviously, no one here is going to go, "Well, I thought it was a really good script about family. It showed us how But that's what Vin Diesel said. He ended up in one of these films. It's about family.
And the film is about family. It's about family, technically. So,
well, some of the information here, basically, the idea was first introduced and may have been inspired by the comic Cow and Boy.
Yes.
In October 2006, the comic referencing this ridiculous idea for a movie. So it's like phrases like jumping the shark, or it's like monkey tennis. Alan Partridge talking about monkey tennis and cooking in prisons and all that stuff. I mean, the cooking in prisons thing did happen with Gordon Ramsay, so you never know.
And also, I do remember a meme coming out there in recent years saying, if you ever feel nervous about pitching something at a meeting, just remember someone suggested in a meeting about a film with sharks in a tornado.
And there were 5 sequels produced. So there's Sharknado 2, the second one, Sharknado 3, Oh Hell No, Sharknado 4, The Fourth Awakens, Sharknado 5, Global Swarming, and then the last Sharknado, It's About Time. And it says, though the original film is not explicitly a comedy, maintaining at least a facade of seriousness, despite the implausible plot, the sequels are more openly comic in nature. So obviously you have to lean towards that. If you're going to go into these movies, you've got to have a bit of fun. So all of what you said about the actors enjoying themselves makes a lot of sense because it comes across even in
It
that
does.
first movie.
I think also, these are the reason I think these movies find their audience. They're great to watch with friends and just have a laugh. I mean, that's in some ways it's more entertaining than watching, a AAA budget Hollywood movie.
Knew you were going to say that. It's
well, Jaws of Revenge. The problem with that is it's just a totally boring movie.
It is.
Where you can't say that this movie's boring.
I would say on top of Jaws being boring, it is piss poorly produced.
Jaws, Jaws the Revenge.
Yeah, it's so badly produced.
Yeah.
This.
And fake outs. I know, and Jaws the Revenge had that old fake. Every time it was a shark attack, or most of the shark attack was, oh no, it's a dream.
Just a little bit about the director, Anthony C. Ferrante, if that's how you pronounce his name. He directed all the 6 Sharknado movies. In addition to his film career, he's written a comic, Archie versus Sharknado, which is a tie-in to Sharknado 3, Oh Hell No, and it's illustrated by Dan Parrott. He also formed the band Quint. Obviously, that's from Jaws. With actor, musician Robbie Rist. They've written and performed songs for every Sharknado movie, including the theme song, The Ballad of Sharknado. Before moving to movies full-time, Ferrante was the editor-in-chief of the now-defunct Cinescape magazine and a writer for Fangoria. So,
was that the song that played at the end credits?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. You'll be streaming that on Spotify after this, don't you, Ian?
I know you want. I know you want the soundtrack for the.
Was the soundtrack released?
I actually don't know. I would imagine it probably was. I mean, this film, was a big hit, despite the naffness of it.
There wasn't any merchandise for this film. They didn't try and do merchandise like Sharknado jumpers, action figures, or
I don't know myself. I'm not sure.
Or toy chainsaws.
I definitely think there was. I think at the time there was places selling posters for the movie. Certainly, I remember seeing posters. I don't know if there's anything else, but
what I would like is one of those self-stirring coffee mugs, but when it moves around, it's got a fin. That's what I want. So someone make one of those.
Johnny, you've got to stop giving away all your brilliant ideas.
I know.
To the public. There you go. Someone's going to make millions off that, namely me.
You know what I find really interesting? You see the poster of the film from behind you, Ian? Those sharks actually look more detailed than the ones in the actual film.
Oh, absolutely.
You
have to say that the stills from the movie or the publicity shots are really, really good. They certainly don't represent what the sharks look like in the movie. Yeah.
And also, I want to know, does insurance cover Sharknadoes? Nah.
We look into that. We ring the. I'll get on the phone to Nationwide, who do my house insurance, and just check.
They can only say no.
They'll just
don't
say,
worry.
Are you serious?
Don't worry, the insurance are covered. I don't know if insurance covers Sharknado.
Well, the only sharks that we have in Belfast and in Northern Ireland are basking sharks, and although they don't eat you, if they squish you from a great height, they could do a lot of damage.
obviously, the extras were not really given much direction, and there seemed to be only 1 or 2 lifeguards, and the people seem to be very nonchalant and happy and being attacked by sharks at first, didn't they?
Well, the lifeguards didn't even do their job at the start. It was the people who were in the sea going, sharks, and then eventually, about 10 minutes later.
No, there was a lifeguard who was sort of looking like this going, is something happening?
Yeah, but he didn't go on the radio. He didn't go on the megaphone thing, go, get out of the water. He was like, well, what's that? Oh,
he was kind of like, could you hear the people running and screaming? No. Or maybe he just thought he doesn't get paid enough.
Well, obviously, these people have found a niche. you know, the Asylum have found a niche. I've seen a few other things that they've made similar. There's similar style. The Asylum is the producer, by the way, was David Michael Latt. He is a co-founder of the Asylum. Just for people who don't know, it's an American independent film company and distributor that focuses on producing low-budget direct-to-video films. It's notorious for producing titles that capitalize on productions by major studios, which Neil mentioned earlier, often using film titles and scripts very similar to those of current blockbusters. You know, and we've said about it before, the term blockbusters. I don't know if it was them, but there was a film called Snakes on a Train. I think it might have been them, but you know, that's the idea. You know, they come up with a title.
Sure, I haven't seen it, but I have heard people talk about their mockbuster of Sherlock Holmes, and I think this is when the Robert Downey Jr. and Jude Law one came out, and they had the, as I said, I haven't seen it, but they had this one here. I think Dominic Keaton was in it, and apparently I heard that it has Sherlock Holmes battling a robotic T-Rex while Dr. Watson is being pursued by an android girl. And I don't remember that one in Sherlock Holmes, but apparently that was in their version. Now, I'd like to see this one at some point, but...
Well, the Sherlock Holmes has... I mean, I think there's a few books that are still in copyright, but the majority of them are in the public domain. So you could basically have any Sherlock Holmes story now. But the other... So apart from Sharknado, the other famous thing, which I haven't seen, they're known for, is another sci-fi original. I would say Z Nation, but I'm sure because it's American, it's Z Nation. I don't know what that is, but they've made several similar type of things.
That must have been their take on World War Z or World War Z or wherever you're.
Well, there is one from, we haven't watched it here. I watched it a few years ago, and it's called Nazis at the Center of the Earth, and it's very similar. Hitler is a cyborg in it, but it is, unlike this, which is kind of amusing, it's incredibly horrific, but it stars Jake Busey, so we'll have to look at that sometime. But it's the same idea of really dodgy effects, but I find those funny. But the actual film is horrific, you know, the content.
Who is that up there?
It's my son.
You must be so proud.
Yeah, I am.
Get everybody to safety! Come on, everybody, let's get away from the window.
Oh my God.
We've got to pick who gets the worst acting award in this movie. We'll start with you, Ian, and work our way around. Who gets the worst acting?
Oh, you know, I still think it's Tara Reid.
You think it's Tara? That's your final say.
I mean, as I said, I felt like everyone else was maybe trying, but she just came across very flat to me. You know, maybe that's a bit unfair. I don't know, but or
do you think she was just going through the motions? Is that what you mean?
Oh yeah, I think so. You know, or the guy who I said earlier gets eaten by a shark and then another shark falls in his head. His reactions to getting eaten were brilliant. So yeah, could be him.
Oh, for me personally,
worst/best.
Okay, it would probably have to be the bus driver.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just condensing everything into one go.
I'm gonna die in 5 minutes. Here's my life story.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It was a case of which of these people in this bus is going to get killed? It's not the kids.
Yeah. It's just like, nah, it's going to be you. You know, and the fact that I know that you tend to have nervous laughter when you're afraid and scared, but when he was going up the rope, that laugh was just maniacal.
What was he going? I gotta get 15,000 a year. Is that enough for these screaming kids?
And he went, ha, 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 ha. And I was like, no.
Also,
so yeah, bus driver for me.
And to me, he looked like a poor man's version of Mr. Kid, or was it in From Diamonds Off River?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Mr. Kid.
But he did, in my opinion, he did get the best line, or one of the best lines. But for me, it has to be the worst actor was the guy who said, "Stay away from the window." Me just saying it was better than his performance.
God, even the old guy from the retirement home, who's the one who looked like he's trying to work out where he's wearing like the black vest. Everyone, get away from him!
That's what Johnny was talking about.
That's the same guy.
I just thought that God, you're right. And I was just like, I don't know. I just felt like these old age pensioners just don't really seem to be too phased here.
They're just some jobbing actors that needed some work. I thought,
Is that your son? You must be so proud.
Yeah.
Ian, Ian, Neil, what is your best / worst acting in this? Hopefully, it's different from ones that we picked.
Even the one playing the son was quite funny, because that bit there after the girl tells her tragic backstory to him, and his reaction is, "No, I hate sharks." I just thought that was just so much.
And also, what about his flying? I was going to say, his flying was.
Ooh. Come on, everybody, let's do his flying acting. Come on, join me. That's how you fly, folks.
Yeah.
All that time, that flying school. And what I liked about him was when they were all hiding in the cupboard, of course he was the only one who could fly, because they didn't have as much experience as him.
I know what made me laugh was one of his one of the girls, she walked away, into the hangar, and you just know she's going to get killed. And the way the hurricane or tornado sucks her up, it just looks like she was cut and paste. It was like a cut and paste.
It looked like she got sucked up by a dustbuster.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Now, to me, when people say about watching a film, they say, what was the standout moment? For me, the chainsaw inside a shark coming out, because when you're that moment when they're up in the helicopter, Jenny and the son, whose name I forgot, when she falls out, she falls into the mouth of a shark. It's like, the animation's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, then he gets eaten by, and he has the chainsaw, and it's just like, out he comes, and all the bloody work. And then it's like, out she comes as well, and it's just like.
God, was it just me, or that looked like the shark was giving birth? Like a C-section.
It was.
I do have to say though, it was a cool scene, just the way he jumps into the shark. It was very, it was very cool, and all. Totally ridiculous, but a lot of fun.
In a multi-million-dollar movie, you're probably not going to get things like people attacking sharks with giant chainsaws.
In fairness, a big budget movie, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Dave Bautista goes into this monster and hacks at it from the inside.
Yeah.
And then comes out of it. So, even big budget movies do it too. Maybe James Gunn saw Sharknado.
I don't think the budget can be blamed for the choices of the script. That obviously that writer, had in his head a vision of what this film was going to be, and within the boundaries of a B movie, you have to always remember that it's not trying to be a Hollywood movie; it's trying to be a B movie.
Yeah,
and if you look at it that way, it does succeed.
I do think at the same time, and it is hard to be critical of these movies because they're B movies, but I I do think the script made it difficult in certain scenes to keep you in the film. You know, the scenes that didn't quite match the flood settings and stuff that we talked about earlier. You know, all that could have been avoided.
Now, one thing
You
I
know.
will say, which was done very well, actually, was the practical shark when it was munching down, you know, on the boat. You know, they had like an actual, it wasn't CGI. That actually was very well done. And they did it the way Jaws did it, where you didn't see it for very long, you know, you just saw a few seconds of it. But when I watched it, I thought, you know, that's not bad. I think the frame rate of the animation is part of the problem. You know, it's too fast. And perhaps a little bit jarring. You know, it's
I guess
maybe
too fast.
like 60 frames per second or something. You know,
Also,
it looks too.
And also, I think it looks too it makes the sharks look very plasticky, very.
Even the scenes when they're, you know, like in the street, you know, when they're floating along, you know, it just looked very, very fake. And also the very last scene, like it was a bit of a mess, if you like, you know. But
also, and then don't forget the reuse of the shots of the shark and the hammerhead coming towards the camera.
Now, if you think that's bad, I saw a trailer for a different movie. I forget which one it was, different shark movie, and it was like Superman 4, you know that.
Yeah.
But it was the same shark going. And so, Joe, this is your first proper appearance on Chat Schmat. So how's it going for you today?
It's going very well. And what a film to start with.
Exactly. And will we
know
be
what I
seeing
mean?
more of you?
Of course you will. This radiant smile.
Of course, everyone's details will be on the screen about their own website or YouTube channel, whatever it is they're doing. So please thank everyone that's been on today by going to their relative websites and so on and showing support for. They need the support after watching these films. Come on.
Hey, maybe afterwards.
Can we start a GoFundMe for my therapy?
We'll do that. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Joe would like to say something.
One more thing, guys. How many bar stools out of 5 does Sharknado get?
It depends how you review it. Are we reviewing it for the awesomeness of the film or the
bar
stools of fun?
Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
If it's bar stools of fun, I'd give it 5. It was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what that's what the purpose, I assume, was of that film.
Yes, entertainment value is what it's all about. Yeah.
Now, if the director says no, it was meant to be a very serious movie, then I give it 0 out of 5.
Well, look, he worked for Roger Corman, and he also did that. He works for the Asylum, so I don't think he was thinking he was making art.
Yeah, but even some of the stuff that Roger Corman did, you know.
Fantastic Four, great wee movie.
He did some of those old Vincent Price horrors, like Pit and the Pendulum.
Yeah.
Fall of the House of Usher. The original
I love the
horrors.
Templar eyebrow there, Neil. It's just all the Ulster, you know.
Well, this is Johnny with a Y, and I am drawing everything to a close. So once again, I'd like to thank everyone for watching, and you know, we've given you a little prompt throughout the episode on screen to like, comment, and subscribe, because we're always interested to know what you think of these films that we're watching. And obviously, if you like, comment, and subscribe, it helps the old algorithm. So please remember to do that. But from me, Johnny with a Y, not an I, I will say goodbye.
And from me, Ian Lawler, I just want to say one last thing. We need a bigger helicopter.
We need more bar stools.
We need to raise the bar.
Anyway, thank you for having me on, guys. I appreciate it.
Yes,
it was
thank you.
Fun.
Well, to all those lost bar stools floating away. I kid you. No, thanks for having me on, guys. It was a blast. It really was. So, thank you.
And so, this is a shark attack. That's a shark attack. This is Shark Attack.
I have to say, the shark puns are wearing a bit thin.
Oh.
Oh.
Just when he thought it was safe to go back to the water.
See you next time.
Yeah.
Goodbye, folks.
And thanks for joining us for this edition of Chat Schmat. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We're hoping to get to 1,000 subscribers. So if you can help us with that, we'd be very grateful. And don't forget, we've got more reviews of shark movies coming up in our Sharkfest season. So please keep an eye out for those on the channel.